Thank you, my lord. Now, we're still busy with the loan agreement,
Yes.
which was formalized in 2015.
Yes.
Now, according to your evidence, there's no paper trail of any deposits you made for this investment since 2012,
No.
because
Not
you
that I know
trusted
of.
each other.
Yes.
And are you aware that forex trading is a very volatile market?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So the share prices goes up and down.
Yes.
And who would take the loss for the fluctuation?
We would, probably, since we gave him the money to trade with in the first place.
So if he told you that there was a huge loss, you would just accept that?
Yeah, he makes it up pretty quickly, but he didn't have many losses. He was very careful.
But this was a continuing payment since 2012 into your account from accused number one.
Yes. There's also continuous loans
But
from 2012.
there's no paper trail for the loans, also no paper trail from his side to indicate to you the amount you gave me here, I put on the forex market, this was the loss or the gain.
No, we only spoke about it at home.
And you just accept that.
Yes. we
Although
trust him.
500,000 rand is at stake.
Yes.
Amazing. Now you also testified that he would pay you into your bank account from his account with the reference blessings.
Yes.
And that would be the gain or loss as part of the monthly repayment of the interest.
Yes. Amongst other things, yes.
What do you mean by that?
There was always for food, also for commission of appointments I made for him. There was different reasons.
So it
That
was not
wasn't
in
the
one
only thing.
amount.
It was all in one amount, but it was.
It
for
was not
different
broken up.
reasons. No.
So one amount could mean several things.
Yes.
How would you know what it meant?
He was at my house every day, so he would explain, listen, I transferred this much, this is for this, this is for this, this is for this. So
Without any paperwork.
you don't need paperwork for that.
For thousands of rand, you don't need paperwork.
No.
And basically that was your only income, isn't that so?
Yes.
You were living on that income, isn't that so?
Yes.
You were not paying it over to anybody else. You were using it to make life easier for yourself.
Yes.
Buying PlayStations, quad bikes and stuff like that.
No, the quad bikes was bought by Dries, not by me.
Now I want you to have a look at exhibit 4 times G in volume 4. Is your Capitec bank statement.
Hang on. Still finding it.
3 times G, my lord. Volume 4. Volume 4, 3 times G. Capitec bank statement.
Yes.
You have it?
Yes.
Please turn to the 29th of June 2015. I'm not going to go through from the start of all these bank statements, but there are several deposits being made from accused number one, which I will not refer to. 29/06/2015, my lord.
$29.06/2015.
Yes. You've got it.
Yes, I think so. Hope so.
in the middle of that statement on that page, there's a transfer, a remote banking transfer from M deposited into your account 1,292 rand.
Yes.
Is that a deposit from Marinda?
Yes, that is.
Why does she pay you?
She did that every month. It was to add up to groceries. She did that every month, as soon as her salary is paid. This would have been on the 26th because the school closed on that day or started on that day. Or it was the last working day.
Just turn to the date 13th of July 2015, 3 pages further on in the document.
Okay.
There it's referred to in the middle of the page, transfer Rinda, 4,968 rand.
Yes.
Same reason?
No, this must have been for something else.
But Rinda is a reference for Marinda.
Yes.
So it will either be M or Rinda.
Normally if it was M, it was either something with Michelle's school or something. But yeah, she transferred money all the time. For different
Why do you say
reasons.
it's for something else, the 4,900?
Because
of the large amount.
Yes.
Then on the next page, the 22nd of July, there's a Cape transfer at the bottom of the page on 22nd of July, 20,000 rand.
Let me just find that. What date?
22nd of July 2015.
Yes.
You see it there?
Yes.
Deposit 20,000 rand.
Yes.
Cape transfer.
Yes.
What is that? Do you know?
I think it's something she ordered. I'm not sure.
Who's she?
Marinda.
From you.
No, it would have been on the internet.
Why did she pay you?
I had a PayPal account.
Let's proceed then to the 11th of August 2015. 11 August, 11/08/2015. It's at the top of the page. Do you have it?
Yes.
It's Cape Town Conference transfer, 27,000 rand.
Yeah, I don't know what that was for, but yeah.
That's quite a large amount.
Yes.
Now, let's go then to we're getting closer to the relevant time of Zach's disappearance and Jared's death.
Yes.
11th of December 2015. 11/12/2015. At the bottom.
Yes, I'm still finding the 12 month here. Yes.
It's a remote banking transfer of 2,100 rand into your account. And if you turn the page, the reference is Tinder.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That would mean tidings.
Being paid to you? Why?
That's just what she called it.
Who's that?
That would be Marinda.
Marinda paying tithes to you. Is that because you were running the ministry?
No. She did it for different reasons. Sometimes she didn't pay her tithes to a specific church or whatever. So she would one month go and give it to the people living at the dam. The next month she would do it to different
Charities.
things. Basically, she would just give it away.
And she also gave it to you
Yes.
for no specific reason, just as a charity.
No, she did it for various reasons. She helped people with it.
Was the 2,100 rand to help you?
It was her tidings that month. That was a tenth of her salary. She would sometimes stop at a robot and give it to the first person she
Yeah,
sees.
but
It's what
my
she did.
question, ma'am, is why does she pay you?
That you have to ask her. Why she
According to
decided
you,
that.
why does she pay you?
I didn't know. I didn't ask her.
You just accept the money and use it.
What must I do? Tell her please don't.
Interesting. Now, then I see on the next page, on the same page where the tinde is written at the top, on the 16th of December, there was one of the accounts from Dr. Brandt. You see that?
What date? On the 16th?
16/12. Dr. NJG Brandt.
What's the amount?
57 rand and 89 cents. Pardon my lord, 883 rand 30 cents. 883
Yes, I
30.
have it. Yes.
Yes. And then the next page
Yes.
is now after the 16th,
Yes.
being the public holiday when Zak went to Clarence.
Yes.
Now, according to your evidence yesterday, Marinda and Laru never followed Zak when he left from your flat to Clarence. Is that correct?
Yes.
There was also never a vision by you to send them later on to follow on the route to Clarence because something might happen to Zak.
Yes.
The next day, the 17th, that they
Yes.
go to Clarence
Yes.
or to Electus Deus.
Yes.
Who?
It was Marinda and Flippy.
Flippy. Is that now
Jacobs.
Jacobs?
Yes.
With which vehicle?
The Hyundai. They left.
With Marinda's vehicle.
Yes.
Not with the BMW.
No, the BMW was still at the police. They confiscated it to take pictures, and they haven't picked it up yet.
The 330.
No, the 118 Ti.
No, but the evidence before the court is the 330 followed.
They were supposed to hand in the car the day before the 16th. Marinda didn't have her car.
No, but I'm talking about your car.
The 330 was standing in the garage.
That's what I want to know. So the 330 never drove to, according to you, never drove to Petrol Stein on the 16th or the 17th.
No. According to me, no.
And did they return on the 17th?
Yeah, yes, they came back the same night.
Did they go again?
Months later.
Months later only.
Yes.
No, nobody from your group went on the 18th or the 19th to Petrol Stein or
Not that I have.
Clarence or that area.
Not that I have any knowledge of, no.
You also not.
No.
Now, if you look at your bank statement on the 19th of December 2015,
Yes, wait, 19, yes.
there's entries, spot, rates.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
If they were at rates in a spar, they don't always put it through the same day, so that could be it, but there was no one there on the 19th.
Are you saying that it's a late reflection of a transaction occurring on the 17th?
Yes, it must be, because no one was there on that day.
And on the 20th, BP
Yes.
Petrol Stein.
They weren't there on the 20th either, so then the Free State must be slow.
I see. That's your place of birth, Petrol Station, isn't it?
No, it's not.
You went to school there.
Yes, I was in boarding school there.
Now, the problem I have with these two entries is how did your card get there and was used?
When Marinda and Flippy left, I gave them my bank card to put in petrol and buy food, which they did. And when they came back, they handed me my bank card back.
Is it a credit card?
No, it's
Debit-
my Capitec.
Capitec card.
Yes, it's a debit
So,
card.
you trusted her to take care of the money in your car.
Yes.
So you were very close.
Marinda, yeah, we were good friends. We all saw each other as family. You already asked that.
Yes, but you had difficulty yesterday to admit that you were good friends.
We were like family.
Now you're like family, giving cards to each other to use and buy stuff with. Then on the next page, on the 24th of December,
Yes.
there's entries from Krugersdorp, PNP Hyper, and Dixon on the 24th, 2 entries. Can you explain those?
Let me just find them. Where on the page is they?
At the top of the page?
Okay.
What are the
Roodepoort.
amounts?
The amount is 289 at the second entry on the top, and the next one is 245, just a few lines below. This came Roodepoort,
That would probably be my medication.
and did you buy it there?
Different pharmacies. If some of my medication is not in stock, I have to take my prescription to a different pharmacy.
So you took it there.
Yes.
That's in Roodepoort,
Yes.
so it's fine with you.
if
Your agoraphobia hadn't had
I-
any
I
influence
didn't go
there.
there.
Oh,
No.
who went there?
It would probably have been Marinda.
Marinda. Was she your lap dog to go and do all the stuff you wanted to do?
No, she was my friend that was able to drive and didn't have a problem when I asked her to do a favor. I do not ask my dog to drive my car.
Now, I just want to get back to the DIDs.
Yes.
Is it correct that DID is a situation that kicks in when you are a small child and you've got trauma at an early age in your life?
They say so, yes.
What was the trauma at the early stages of your life?
I couldn't be able to answer that.
Why not?
Because I was seeing a psychologist and we're doing hypnosis about it.
Are you saying you don't know, or are you saying you don't want to answer? What
I'm
are you
saying
saying?
I do know, but I'm also saying I don't want to answer.
So you're saying you don't want to answer the question?
Yes.
You don't think it's important?
My lord, it has nothing to do with Satanism or any charges against me, so I can't see how that is important.
Obviously, I think if you don't answer the questions, it might be argued later that I should throw an intervention. I can't force you to answer. It's up to you.
My lord, everybody knows that the idea is formed by trauma, so for me to explain that to him is pointless, isn't it?
Try me. Explain it to me.
I didn't grow up in a pretty much perfect house, so obviously there was trauma, it caused the ID. What more can I tell you?
The trauma in you as a small child.
Yes,
What kind of trauma?
physical abuse, trauma,
Assault.
amongst other things, yes.
What are the other things?
Things you saw. There are lots of different ways to traumatize a child. So as a child, you cannot physically run away. You can't. So what runs? Your mind runs. Because it's the only thing that can escape is your mind. And that's how DID starts. It's a God-given ability to survive.
So you were aware of the DID from an early age?
No, I wasn't.
From when was the first time that you became aware of this disorder?
When Ria explained to me that is what it means.
What time frame are we looking at?
2008.
And you explained that to Candace?
No, Ria explained that to Candace. And then Candace
You never
researched
explained it to Candace?
No.
Did you also rent another flat in Krugersdorp?
No, I didn't.
Marinda?
Yes, she did.
What's the name of that flat?
Zarahof, I think it was.
Zara.
Yes.
Zara. How far is it from your flat, Susanna?
About 3-4 blocks.
Was somebody staying there? Was she hiring it? Was it for rent or what was the
No,
situation?
she hired it for Laru.
For Laru.
Yes.
Now you also, I want to refer you to exhibit 3x L in volume 4. Do you have it?
Yes, the knives.
The knives.
Yes.
Can you tell the court how many knives did you collect?
Roughly about 470 and about 127 zippos. You see the zippos lined on top. On top of the pictures is my zippos that I collected.
Zippers. I don't know what
Those
is it.
Zippo lighters.
Oh, lighters. Oh.
Yes.
Did you hear the evidence of Laru with reference to exhibit 3x L? With reference to that nylon rope, the pink and blue one, hanging
Yes.
next to your knife collection.
Yes.
Remember, he testified that you gave him that rope and instructed him to use that to kill Jared.
Yeah, I heard when he said that. I also heard when he said he made his own with a piece of wood and a
Yes,
rope
that's
between.
correct. That was later on.
So
He
that rope
improved
was,
the weapon later on.
that rope
But he
was-
did that because you told him.
No, I didn't. That rope was still there when the police searched my house.
When did they search your house?
The day I got arrested, they searched my bedroom. And that rope was still hanging behind that door.
Now imagine these 400 odd knives is quite expensive.
Yes, they are.
And did you import some of these knives?
Yes,
So it's a very expensive hobby.
yes it is.
But luckily your investment was giving you lots of money to pay for all these knives.
These lives were collected over a period of time, not overnight.
Court will bear with me a moment, please. Now, let's just proceed to you being linked to a church, as you said yesterday,
Yes,
and you regard yourself as Christian.
yes.
That you also baptize people?
No, no. I didn't baptize people. I was present when Ria baptized people, but I've never baptized anyone.
Do you recall Melanie van der Merwe?
Yes,
She was in court and she testified that you baptized her.
she testified that Ria baptized her and I was there.
Let me just read you the evidence. It appears on page 1765 of the record of proceedings. The following was said at the bottom at line 19. Now, after you have met the accused 2, Cecilia, you were then once again baptized. Is that correct? That is correct, yes. How did that happen? I was told by Cecilia that she could not see that I was baptized before, adult baptism. And then she suggested that I be baptized again, so she baptized me again. That's her evidence.
I never baptized her.
But you were also called in to come and have a look after Ria had baptized people.
No, I was at the house while she was baptizing people. I
Didn't they call you in?
No, they asked me, Ria asked me to be there. But I wasn't called in, I was there
For
in
what
any
purpose?
case. Ria asked me, do they look okay? And I say, yeah, well, they look fine to me.
Yes, they were referring to that because of your abilities, you could see whether there's a light above their head or not, whether it worked or not.
Well, I don't know what they were referring to. I can only
Because
answer to
that's
what I
linked to
said.
the spiritual eye, the third eye. You deny that.
I do not have a spiritual eye, no.
And that happened with Mrs. Luiting, Karen Luiting, where she was baptized by Ria, and you had to come and have a look whether she was then fine. And you said, okay, the light is on.
No, I never said that.
Did you ever discuss between the people demons?
No. It might have come up in discussions about Ria's research, but never specific anything. In a broad discussion, maybe. But yeah.
Let's go back to the 16th of December 2015.
Yes.
According to your evidence, was Jared at your flat on that day?
No, he wasn't.
Never ever.
Never ever.
Is it correct that accused number 1 departed to Clarence from your flat?
Yes, his car was parked right in front of my flat.
Why was it necessary for him to depart from your flat and not from his own flat?
Because Krugersdorp Private Hospital is right across from my flat and he was at casualties. So I don't think he's going to park his car further. It's right across the front door of the hospital and my front door.
Because accused number one is saying that he saw Jared that morning and he tried to duck and dive in, because Jared asked him for a lift. And then when he wanted to depart, Jared was there at your flat.
No. I
So
didn't
you're
see
saying
Jared.
those are all lies?
I didn't see Jared. If he picked him up at the corner or...
No,
But
from your
I
flat.
didn't see him at my flat.
Are you saying that's a lie?
Yes, I didn't see him at my flat. No, I'm telling you that I didn't see him at my flat.
But you could not have missed him if he was there.
I could have. I was in my room in my flat. I said goodbye to Zak and went inside.
Didn't you wave to him as he departed?
No.
Did you give him a juice for the road?
No, I did not.
Did you give him anything for the road?
No.
You also mentioned prior to the mayor's murders that Laru was shot.
Yes.
How did that happen?
He got robbed.
He got robbed.
Yes.
Of what?
I don't know. I was at my psychologist appointment, and when I came back, they just told me that Laru got robbed and he's in the hospital. He
And
later
where was
explained.
the gunshot wound on his body?
As far as I know, it was very close to his nuts.
And according to what you've heard, is that the robber shot him.
Yeah, there was a fight between him and the robber. He fell and got shot.
So you stick to the story you told Shane of discovery when he interviewed.
Yes,
Although Lex said that was a lie.
that's what Laru told me that happened.
Because he said that he was busy packing his bag to go to the mayor's residence when the firearm fell and went off and shot himself.
I don't know, I was told that he got robbed.
So there was no plan whatsoever from your point of view to fake the death of accused number one.
No.
Now, why was it then that you made a payment to the outstanding amount on the policy if there was no talk about this policy?
Today he had to make the payment, he was running late, so there was no way he could make the bank in time. So he had the cash with him and he asked me, can I transfer it and just send him the proof of payment? So he had to forward it to his broker and he gave me the cash. So he gave me the cash and I made the transfer for him.
But the payment was overdue. It was in arrears already.
I don't know what his payment arrangements were.
So are you saying it's because he asked you?
Yeah, he asked me.
The spiking of drinks are also a common theme in this matter. First, Ria's drink was spiked and she slept for a long time. Then Michaela's drink and then Jared's drink. What do you say about the spiking of the drinks?
I've never
With
spiked
pills.
anybody's drink.
You also mentioned yesterday that according to you, there was bad blood between accused number one and his parents.
They had a disagreement.
Of what? Why?
Zak pierced his ears.
And that resulted in them not talking to him.
Yes. It was a big issue for them.
And on the 16th, that disagreement was still in place.
I don't know, I didn't speak to his parents at that stage.
Now we've heard in this court many witnesses testify regarding your involvement, especially also regarding your supernatural powers.
Yes.
And you already testified yesterday that they all colluded to come tell lies to this court.
It's everything that Ria had told them, so
So are you saying Ria was the instigator to tell everybody to come and tell lies in this court? Is that your evidence?
no, my evidence would be that is what Ria told them I can do. So I cannot do those things.
But your evidence is also you never told her that you can do those things.
Yes.
So that means, if that is the evidence that Ria told the group that was your powers, those all were lies.
Yes.
And why would you do that?
I don't know, you should have put it to her when she was sitting here.
No, you should have put it to her through your counsel.
I didn't think it was necessary because it had nothing to do with the charges against me.
You're wrong.
I'm charged for being a werewolf.
So it amounts to a conspiracy between a lot of state witnesses and Ria to come and mislead this court.
The state witnesses probably believed it.
But even accused number 2 believes it. I beg your pardon, number 1. Do you have an answer to that?
No, if he believes it, he maybe has a reason for it.
Did you ever think or thought strange of the fact that many of these people who were part of your group at some stage leave and disappeared?
No.
It never bothered you?
Are you talking about Ria and Jog?
Yes.
Ria and me had a fallout. We weren't dating anymore. We weren't talking. So her leaving, I knew she was going to leave. Jog, I was under the impression that his grandmother was sick. And when he didn't come back, I thought he has gotten a new job. He was like that.
Arana?
Arana and I never had a close relationship that much, so I thought she was with Jog. So, no, I didn't ask, didn't question. I phoned you 3 times, you don't answer your phone. I'm not going to phone you again.
You just mentioned that you and Ria were no longer dating. Are you attributing the breakup to the
We
stop
weren't
dating?
talking. We weren't. There was nothing between us anymore. We weren't talking. We weren't seeing each other. Nothing. So why would I wonder where she is?
But what caused the breakup? Is it the sexual relationship that stopped? Is that what
Not
you
just
said?
that. We argued. We, like every other people, we argued.
What was the cause? Just give me the cause of the breakup.
Ria became possessive to the point where she sneaked to my bedroom window to see who is visiting me. Marinda had to make sure Ria is not there before she can come and have coffee at my house. People weren't allowed to see me. If you were at my house and Ria shows up, they were rude to them. Well, she was very, very rude to them. She didn't allow anybody near me. She had a problem with everybody that's visiting me. Nothing.
Well, why didn't you intervene? Because as you've told this court this morning, you were the aggressive person in the relationship.
I did. I told her I have enough. This is enough. I think my lawyer even told her that she became too much.
So you just changed the tables. What Ria said in her testimony that you were isolating her from the people she knew, and you just turn it around. You say, actually, it was Ria who was isolating you from even your parents and your sister.
Ria told my parents themselves they shouldn't come to my house.
Why?
I don't know. Ria even told Arana to stay away from me because I said so when Arana asked her.
Were you ever shot?
No.
So was the wound on your stomach, was that part of the stuff you bought at the costume shop?
I never had a wound on my stomach. I wasn't there.
Do you recall the evidence of Ria that shots were fired there and you come running?
Yes, I heard that.
And that's all lies.
The person that was also testifying before, Blackmore Reed, Nigel,
Yes.
he never mentioned that he even saw me, and he was the one with the gun against his head.
Yeah, but that's on a different occasion.
No, that's the same occasion.
The same night, Brad, but a different location.
No.
The one is, okay, what happened then? Tell me what happened.
Ria said someone put a gun against Nigel's head. He collapsed on the floor. That's the same thing Nigel was talking about.
Yes.
So he never mentioned anybody getting shot. Only Ria mentioned someone getting shot.
Because you heard sounds which sound like gunshots.
But I wasn't there, so.
You wasn't there.
No.
But isn't it so that Laru also testified that you like to make use of these costume shops, these fake wounds, to create the impression that you are injured?
Oh, no, we had contact lenses and stuff like that, but no wounds.
What stuff? Stuff except for the contact lenses, what else?
Teeth, I think Lord of the Ring ears, and yeah. That was basically for the kids.
I'm going to put it to you, ma'am, that you were the mastermind of this whole operation. You were the puppeteer. You were pulling the strings so that the puppets will dance to your tune. You were instructing them to do certain things and commit crimes. You're not making your hands dirty, and living on the proceeds of all those crimes, a luxury life as a queen. What do you say to that?
It's not true.
Just another aspect. Did you ever marry people?
There was an occasion where friends of ours, Shaw, I think he testified as well, that they all got already married and they wanted to have the reception and a ceremony. They asked Ria to do it, she denied, and they asked me to do it. So physically marry them? No. They were already married.
Yeah, you did the ceremony.
Yeah.
What kind of ceremony was that?
It was just a normal sermon part, and then you take you, yes.
So it was like a normal preacher will do when marrying people.
No, a little bit different, but you could say that, yes.
Why
but it wasn't
different?
a wedding ceremony. They were
Not a
already
wedding
married.
ceremony.
Yeah.
Because it was not a legal ceremony. Is that what you're saying?
No,
it's
they
not a
were
wedding?
already legally married by
Yeah,
then.
yes, I
Yes.
understand that. But many people do that, isn't that so? That they have a legal ceremony at the magistrate's office, and later on a different ceremony. But the different ceremony still looks like a marriage ceremony.
In a sense, probably, but no, it wasn't like a marriage ceremony. No.
Thank you, Malone. I have no further questions.
Is there any re-examination?
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing? You must step back. The next witness.
The court pleases, my lord. Next witness, Marinda Stein.
Please state your full names and surname to the court.
Marinda Stein?
Do you have any objection in taking the prescribed oath?
No, I don't.
You swear the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Witness is sworn in, my
You
lord.
undertake to see.
The court pleases, my lord. Ma'am, it is true that you were one of the accused in this matter and that you have already pleaded and been found guilty. That's correct.
It's true.
And you are today under no obligation to testify. correct?
No, I'm not.
Can you tell the court when did you meet accused two?
At the end of 2007, beginning 2008, that December, January, I met her.
And under what circumstances did you meet?
Well, the first time I saw her, that was in 2007, still was at a, a sermon that Maria Grunewald was preaching at. And I was introduced to her, and then in January 2008, I actually was invited to her house by Ria Grunewald, and then I met her there again, properly.
Can you describe your relationship with the accused two up to prior to the arrest, or even up to now?
She's my very best friend.
And do you consider the feeling to be mutual?
Yes, I do.
Do you know what the level of accused two's qualifications are? Educational qualifications?
No, we didn't really ever talk about it, but I know she went to the same high school as I did. I don't know until when.
Because we've heard quite a number of evidence in this court that accused two would have introduced herself as having quite a substantial number of degrees and also postgraduate degrees. Are you aware of that?
No, she's never done that with me.
I also heard that she made out to be a medical doctor, psychologist, psychiatrist, and also LLB degree. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
How would you consider accused two's health since the time that you met her up to date?
Very poor health. I've been there for her. That's how I grew fond of her, helping her when she was in hospital, taking clothes and stuff like that, when she had bronchos, I don't know in English, bronchoscopia. She had those like 4 in 1 year and stuff like that. So on and off, she's been healthier and sicker in the past 10 or whatever years. But I would say in general, you can describe her health as poor, especially before we got arrested. And the 2 years or 3 years before that, it declined. Yeah.
Could you identify any one specific health issue that is or were prominent?
Well, her lungs, basically, must I explain?
Okay.
Okay. Basically, I like Googling and reading up about stuff. And those days when they gave a name and said, this is wrong with her, I used to do that. And she had viruses that she got in her lungs because her lungs were poor already. One virus she got in the hospital while she was there for one of those scopes that she had to go for. It was a klepso something with a long name. I can't remember it now, but I used to have it in my diary, which was basically incurable and made you almost like a person with AIDS, that you have no immune system and stuff like that. So sorry, I'm going on about the disease.
So you would
Basically that influenced everything, because if you can't breathe properly, then you can't very much do anything else. So she would get sick very easily. When there's a flu going around, she would get it, that type of thing. So the lungs affected everything else. And from what I understood as well, because she had asthma, I saw for myself when she gets upset or stuff like that, it would influence her lungs, then she would struggle to breathe. And because her lungs were already poor, it's like a vicious circle, it influenced everything else.
And if she struggled to breathe, did you notice any aids that were used to improve?
She drank like 30 pills every day for all the different things that were wrong. I might be over-exaggerating, but more than 10 pills for all the different things that were wrong with her lungs and everything. And she had asthma pump. I more than once fetched her medicine from the chemist for her. So, yeah, there were a whole bunch of stuff that she had to use. And she also used oxygen, and she had a nebulizer and all sorts of things like that.
Say oxygen, have you seen her using the oxygen?
Yes, but not a lot, because she said if you get used to the oxygen, you can't go without it. It often happens with people. So she tried not to use it unnecessarily.
Have you ever heard of the phobia, agoraphobia?
Yes, I'm familiar with it.
did accused to suffer from agoraphobia?
Definitely.
How do you know that?
Once again, I'm a nosy busybody, and my father used to be a psychologist, so I know about many of these things, and she had the typical symptoms. We also saw a movie with that name, and she was not like the woman in the movie, but you could see the similarities. The thing with her is she struggled to breathe, so we lived right across the hospital. Okay, she lived there, I eventually lived there as well. I moved closer. And that was so that if something goes wrong, she can just go across the street so that she can be in the hospital. Now, the moment I would get with her in my car and say, let's go to the shops, if we go too far from her house, she would start saying, okay, now turn around, I can't breathe. And then at first I didn't believe her when I just got to know her. But I saw her going blue around her mouth and, going, and can't breathe. So I turned around. So basically, how I saw it is although she's smart enough to figure out for herself that it happens because she's scared she's going to be too far from the hospital, there's nothing she can do to change it because it's in her subconscious.
We also heard testimony with regard to boundaries, and it was in fact the limitation put on boundaries that made her not go far from the residence. What do you know about that, man?
I read a book, Boundaries, by Cloud Townsend. I don't know about boundaries other than social boundaries.
Specifically referring to accused two.
No,
Did you know of any boundaries set, either by her or anyone else? Did you ever have a discussion with her with regard to boundaries?
Her husband didn't like her to drive her motorcycle. That's the only boundaries that I know of. There were boundaries set on her social behavior.
Do you know the condition dissociative identity disorder, DID,
Yes.
in short?
I know it.
What is your experience of that? How do you get to know that?
I know people that has it. Must I tell you what I think it is?
Yes, please.
Okay, sorry. Basically, it boils down to the fact that a person who was traumatized before a certain age in their life split personalities. I also saw a movie, Sybil, that explains it nicely, although it's a very old movie. That was the first thing that I ever came across. I saw the movie and then I started realizing, but I know people that has that. You can identify people with it if you see them a lot. And I know quite a few people with the ID.
Would you consider accused two having the ID?
Yes.
Did she ever talk to you about it?
Not really as much. She would mention it, but she doesn't like to talk about it. The thing is, she was told that she has it, and she told me about when she found out that she has it. But she doesn't really like talking about it because it's like people will think you're crazy maybe or something, so she doesn't like to talk about it.
Have you ever seen any of these personality switches manifest?
Well,
Have you
in my
witnessed
opinion,
something like
yes,
that?
but I'm not a psychologist, so I might be wrong. I mean, if you know about it, you look for it. So, yes, in my opinion, I have seen it.
What did you see specifically with regard to accused two? Maybe I'll make it easier on you, sorry my lord. Specifically referring to accused two, could you identify certain personalities coming out during the manifestation of DID?
Yes. I once noticed that every time that I'm with her, she always wears her cap forwards, and then at some stage while I'm visiting there, she will change her cap around to the back and act differently. So once I confronted the one with the cap to the back and asked her, so who are you? And she said, it's none of your business. And I realized she was a totally different person, in my opinion. But she never did want to give me her name. So I made up my own names for them in my head.
Do you know any of the names? Anya?
I've heard it, yes.
Never witnessed Anya in front of you?
No.
Akisha?
Yes.
Who was Akisha?
One of the personalities.
How many personalities would you say emanated from accused two?
I'm sure more than one would realize referring to my little knowledge, as I said, I'm not a psychologist, so I can't, but I think there would be more than one would think, because they wouldn't not all reveal themselves. But I would say at least 4 of the personalities that I would be able to identify if they are the person talking to me.
Now, when these personalities came out, or let me put it that way, when the switch occurred, did you ever talk to her after the event when she came by, if I may use that? Did you ever talk to her? Did you have a discussion about that?
No, I'm very sensitive to people's feelings if they're sensitive about something, but I would say something like, I told you yesterday that I'm going to parents' evening tonight. And then she would say, no, you didn't. And then I'd say, oh, maybe it wasn't you. And something like that, but not discuss it.
Do you know if she underwent any or seek any assistance, professional assistance, to remedy the DID disorder?
Yes, I regularly help to pick her up afterwards. She went to see a psychologist. She had a location close to her house where she could, within her breathing distance and close to the hospital, see a psychologist. I also took her to Medicross to see a psychologist, but the medical aid wasn't happy with him or something, you know. So yes, I know that she's seen more than one, and I know, well, from what her telling me, that originally Ria took her to a psychologist as well, but I didn't see that one or meet or hear the name or anything.
Would you regard the accused as a Satanist or ex-Satanist?
It depends on how you define the term, because I know she was also mixed up with wrong stuff at school. People say you dabble with stuff like that, then that, I think she would maybe qualify for that. From what I understand, from what she's told me from when she was at school, she was quite the rebel. We had the same teacher, so there were stories to tell. She even hit one of my teachers, you know, like things like that. And I know she got mixed up with the wrong people. And yes, she was like all wanting to look evil, the emo goth, you know, that whole scene.
Are you referring to specifically while she was at school?
Yeah.
After
Yes.
school, were you aware of any satanic or occult connections?
No, and the thing is, as far as I always understood, she met her husband when she was like 16, and I've never heard him say anything about that, and anything she referred to was like before that. So I don't think there was anything like that afterwards, or if there was, no one ever spoke about it.
Would you regard her as a Christian?
Yes, definitely.
On what do you base that?
She really knows God. She accepted Jesus as her savior. She prays. She's someone that means a lot to me spiritually. That's why I grew close to her. She's someone that you could be really down in the dumps, and she'll always be there for you. She's someone that even I will feel sorry for people easily, would think, no, really, I'm not going to help this person. They come and ask for money every week, then she'll be the one to give them. She's just that type of person that she has the fruit of the Spirit in her life, so you see it.
Now, ma'am, the indictment refers to the fact that the enterprise existed, and Electus Deus was formed as a countermeasure for Ria's overcomers through Christ. What do you know about that? Can you enlighten the court with regard to...
No, that's a whole misunderstanding, I think, because I have an Electus Deus tattoo, and it's all about tattoos. We are into tattoos, okay? We are people who like tattoos in our circle of friends. And everyone walks around with this tattoo that says, only God can judge me. And that's such a cliche. And then one day, we were a few friends together. I don't want to mention names if it's not asked. We were a few friends together, and then we were talking about the tattoos, and one came up with the Electus Deus. I can't even remember if it was Cecilia or the guy that was visiting there, but she explained the Latin, that she Googled it or whatever, and it means chosen by God. And there's a verse specifically about that as well, that God is called many, but many were called, but few were chosen. And that makes it more specific and it's less of a cliche. So I also wanted the tattoo, and Doc also wanted the tattoo, and my kids wanted the tattoo, and they had to wait until they were older. And each of us got a different picture, and that's Electus Deus. We're all cool, we have tattoos. It doesn't say only God can judge me, it says Electus Deus, and people have to ask you what it means, they don't know. That's what Electus Deus is.
Would you consider Electus Deus being a ministry?
No. A ministry is like what we had with Ria, where you go to a place, right, and you pray together or whatever. No, it's not a ministry.
Was it?
Mostly people, I would say, that were children of God, or at the time I perceived them as children of God, who wanted a tattoo that is relating to their feelings for God.
Now you already said that there were many people, so it was a group of people that actually got their tattoos out of their own will.
Yeah, I haven't sat and counted them, but we're quite a few people who got it. Some people I haven't even seen for years.
Now this group, let us for the purpose of this exercise call it the group. Now was this group, according to you, structured? A group of friends, was it in any manner a structured group?
No, I would say the only thing that would link us was that we were friends. It didn't have a structure.
No leader, people
No.
doing certain functions?
No.
Would you say there was a leader amongst the friends?
It depends on who were present at the time. I'm the type of person who's bossy, so if I'm the one that's the older one that's there and a bunch of us are together, then I might take the lead and tell stories and make jokes and whatever. I tend to take over the scene. If it was someone else that's got a strong personality, then I might be busy marking and that person would take over the scene. So no, I don't think there was a leader in our friendship group.
What would you say was the main reason for getting together at Electus Deus residence in a room and not in the living room?
Well, basically, because it was practical. Referring to the previous question, I just think that sort of links in with that. Cecilia is the type of person that people gravitate towards her. She has that type of personality. I don't know what it is. So people tended to go to her. So you would walk into the house, and that's how it links up for me. You would walk to her, go to her house and walk in and greet her husband, and you'll see the kids along the way, and she would be in her room. And at first, I remember when I was still shy, when I didn't really know them, I would ask, are you going to call her? And then he'd say, no, walk through. So then you walk through. He didn't want to be disturbed in front of the television, and then you'd walk through, and she always had like a divan, extra bed, and at a stage she had couches, but in her room. So basically, because it's a flat situation, and we all live in flats, and you're used to it, you get a place where you're comfortable, and there you sit and visit. So her room was more like the lounge in the house than the actual lounge.
Thank you for that. Let us return, or let us come to Laru's evidence here in court. Now, he said that the primary reason for moving to Kosana was to look after accused too, as he was using his words eloquently, sickly. What would you say about that? Primary reason moving.
I would say that that's not really true, because I moved since when I met her, I moved gradually closer from where I stayed in the same neighborhood, then moving from Roodepoort to Krugersdorp, then from that house to a closer flat, because it's just easier if I visit there, and especially because I would sit with the kids at night and mark until 11 o'clock, and they would fall asleep, and then we'd go home. Safer to be closer. I filled out forms to live in the same block of flats. That would make it easier, and I was declined, I think, twice before I actually got a flat in that same block. So for me, it was convenience. And yes, of course, she was sickly. I told you she was sickly, but that's not why I wanted to move closer. She's already close to the hospital.
So you say there was no obligation on you to actually move closer?
No, I wanted to. I like being comfortable, going quickly where I want to be.
And you said, you just testified that what Laru said wasn't really true, that the prime reason for moving to Kosana 17 was to be closer to accused 2 to look after.
Closer to her, but not to look after. To live close by. Easy access.
He also testified that he visited accused 2 24/7 because he had to look after her. What do you say on that?
I can't remember in 10 years ever asking him to look after her or her asking him to look after her. I know it has happened that he stayed there when he didn't have a job in the mornings and there would be someone with her there and it would be him. But no offense, but I wouldn't trust him to look after her.
So would you say that that was not completely the truth that he told?
No, it's not completely the truth.
He also testified that Cecilia was a 42nd generation witch. She actually told him, according to him, that she was a 42nd generation witch. What would you say on that?
That he's lying, firstly, and secondly, he lives in a world of his own.
He also testified that everyone in the group could not refer to Cecilia as Cecilia. They had to refer to her as C due to the satanic connections of the name Cecilia. What knowledge do you have of that, man?
I don't know anything about that. C is a cool name. It's shorter. Like everyone has nicknames. That's how I got to know her. She was introduced to me as C. I don't know any satanic connections to that.
Who introduced you?
Ria Grunewald.
She said C.
Sorry, yeah.
Did she say C?
Yeah, she did. Sorry, and people at my school also knew Ria and Cecilia, and they also spoke of her as C. So even before I met her, I heard of C.
So you would attribute that to her nickname?
Yeah.
Let us turn to the explosive devices. Laru testified that accused instructed him to make a cracker up to a stage where it could actually blow up a car. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. I also testified to that, and the charges that was against me for that was taken away because I really don't know anything of that.
That's fine.
I'm not guilty of that, and I don't know about it.
And he also testified that accused 2 instructed him to devise these explosive devices for the mere purpose to create destruction at Ria's Overcomers Through Christ meetings. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't.
He also said that the bombs were manufactured in Cecilia's flat. And you were actually involved.
He says they were
playing
manufactured
around.
in her flat.
Yes, in her flat.
Where? That would be an interesting question. It's
Do you
not
know
true.
anything about that?
No, it's not true, and it would not be possible for anyone to do such a thing in her flat because we were all around the place, and it's just that big.
Have you seen any devices being manufactured, or parts of pieces, or any completed explosive devices in the form of a cracker or anything else in
No,
accused
never.
2's residence?
No, never.
Do you know of any petrol bombs or other explosions that occurred in Kelly Street whilst Overcomers Through Christ were holding meetings with?
I know about it, yes, because I was arrested for it and let go again 4 days later.
Were you involved with that?
No, I wasn't, and that's why they let me go. I was not involved at all. I lived next to Ria, in the flat next to her, and I knew about it, and I heard about it, and I even drove afterwards to see where's the thatched roof that they told us burned down, which wasn't right, wasn't true, but that's it. So I was let off on that charge because I wasn't involved at all, and I didn't know anything about it.
Then you also went further and testified and said that at the fire at the Lighthouse Church, a note was stuck to the gate that was actually done by you and accused too. My apologies. What do you say to that?
I don't know anything about it. I know about the Lighthouse Church of George Nell, and I know that there was a fire at a stage, but I had nothing to do with it, and I don't know anything about it. And I've never seen anyone have anything about it.
Let's get to Natasha's murder. You know Natasha? You
I knew
Natasha?
it. Yes, I did.
Do you know if accused two knew Natasha?
Yes. Yes, we all met at Rias.
And how would you describe the relationship between Natasha and accused two?
I wouldn't know that if there was really a relationship. I know they knew each other and I've seen them talking to each other, but we didn't know Nat that well. I saw her a few times. I can't even tell you if it's 5 times maybe.
Where did you see her?
At Ria's house when we got together there, and she was at a stage she was staying at Ria's house for a few days, and I actually took her to the Spar, I think, for Ria, to go and buy milk or something, but yeah, that's basically it.
Now, there was also testimony of Laru where mentioned that accused two told the group of friends that Natasha actually prayed the wrong prayer and that resulted in children dying. You know anything about that?
No, I don't.
You also testified that accused two gave the instruction that Natasha had to be taken care of. In short, to be taken out of murder.
No, that's a lie. Zak wanted to kill Natasha, and I knew about that, but I never believed him. But Cecilia never said anything like that.
Do you know what happened during the murder of Natasha?
Yes, I do. Must
Can
I
you tell the
tell?
court?
Okay. Well, basically, before she was murdered, Zak wanted to kill her, and Michaela was all for it. She was very excited about it because she got excited about stuff like that. You know, there's a new thing to do. So I didn't really take them seriously. His reason being that she had a chip in her hand that was of the Antichrist. At her work, they had to have a chip to enter the building. And apparently, this is what I heard, it got infected. And then she didn't want to have it taken out. She had it put back in again. And he said that made her evil and she's bad, and he wanted to kill her. I kind of always thought it was more about Michaela not liking her because she was very much in competition with other women, and there was a whole issue of them getting attention at Rias, etc., etc. So I never took it seriously, and then one day I was on my way to, shortly after that, I was on my way to school for a parents' evening, and they phoned me and said they did it, they killed her. So.
Who told you that?
Well, Michaela and Zak moved the phone between the two of them. They were a bit hysterical, and they were driving. So they said they killed her, and then I said, well, I'm on my way to parents' evening, so I can't really, I don't know what to do. So I said, you have to make sure that no one can find you, and that's why I also got sentenced for that. I never went to the police. I told them, make sure that you get rid of anything that can lead to them finding that you did it, and have your car valeted and whatever is necessary to be done. I can't see you for the next how many hours. And in the end, I only saw them the next day.
But what exactly were you told? Were there only one murder or more murders?
No, they just told me, actually, well, Zak told me stuff afterwards as well, and Michaela, but I think actually when they phoned, they said that they killed the old lady as well. They told me afterwards that they devised a reason for the lady to leave her, told her they want to give a present to Michaela or something, but it's a surprise, to Nat, but it's a surprise, so she left a letter for Nat to come to her flat. And then when Nat came to her flat, Michaela was supposed to apparently kill the old lady, and Zak was supposed to kill Nat, But then Michaela only hit the old lady over her head with a hammer and freaked out and threw the hammer down and ran back to the car. And then Zak killed Nat, and the old lady ran to her room, and he actually told me, she said to him, just make it quick, something like that. And he told me he slit her throat, and then he had to make sure that he took everything in the flat, and he actually walked, he said he walked with the stuff still dripping blood and everything. He walked to the car, and he still found Michaela. I remember asking him what if she took the car and drove away, but fortunately she didn't. So he got in the car with her and they drove away. That's his version that he told me of what happened.
At any stage, were mention made of accused 2, either being part of the plan or after the fact that she was told
No.
by any other? What part did you play, if any, in these 2 murders?
In those, nothing, except I didn't tell anyone, and I told them to please do not let anyone know, because it would have freaked everyone out, and then someone else might have gone to the police, and I didn't. And
Let us go to Pastor Reg Ben Dixon. Now, Laru testified that accused 2 got upset with the pastor because he worked with Ria, developing the Know Your Savior course. Do you know anything about that?
sorry, repeat that again. He said.
Laru testified that accused 2, Cecilia,
Okay.
got upset with Pastor Reg Ben Dixon due to the fact that Ria worked very close with him and that the pastor and Ria were developing the Know Your Savior course. Do you know anything about that?
It's not true. I got upset with him because he changed Ria. I
So
wanted to
didn't
kill
get
him,
the
that's why he got killed.
He what, Ria?
He changed Ria. He
Meaning
changed
what?
her. He manipulated her and used material that she developed, and then people would come and say, I went to Reg's sermon and I heard this, and then I said, but that's a sermon that Ria let me read that she wrote. Then he would just add stuff, basically in my book made it a bit more boring because he added stuff, and then he would say he developed that, and he wormed himself into her overcomers classes, and he was going to present some of them, and she became very bitter, and I idolized her. It was bad seeing that happen to her. He was in my book a very bad man. I also heard stories about him emotionally abusing his wife, which I don't know if it was true, but that just added to the picture that I had of him. Ria basically sitting at his feet, literally, if not just symbolically, and always saying good things about him, and then becoming more and more bitter and more sorry for herself because everything that she worked for is being turned into his. Everyone says he did it and he did it. So I went to Zak and I said to him, I want to kill this man.
And
If he's
what
gone, she will become herself again. He's like the devil in her life. And before I actually, so basically I went to Zak and I said that, and I basically blackmailed him and said, if you don't help me to kill this man because I wouldn't be able to do it on my own, then I'm going to tell people you killed Nat. So he didn't really have a choice, but I didn't have to turn his arm very hard on that. I think for him it was adventure, it was the adrenaline rush, he wanted to do it as well.
So what happened that actual day of the murder?
Well, we actually went there quite a few times and
Who's we?
Zak and I. We drove there, we rang the, Zak and I drove there.
Sorry to
Okay.
interrupt you.
Okay,
Where's there?
sorry, can I take a sip?
Yes, yes.
I don't remember the street name, it's something like Alta. But it's in Honeydew, it's past where Zak lived. We drove there, and then the bell didn't work, but we didn't realize that. We rang the bell and it was like he wasn't there. And then the next time when we went there, I bought one of those cheap phones that you buy from the people on the
Who is
street
he,
vendors.
He? referring to?
No, I bought
You
a
bought.
cheap phone. Yeah, I bought a cheap phone, and then when Zak and I stood outside his house, I phoned him on his landline.
Being phoned in?
I found Reg Ben Dixon,
Yes.
the pastor, on his landline, and he actually answered, and he came to the gate, and he opened the gate for us. We said that we were from the police. I said I think Adjutant Skuman or something that I remember, and we went inside and we were talking to him. Zak was wearing police uniform, and I was wearing clothes that I bought at pep stores that I could just throw away afterwards. It looked very neat, but I wanted to get rid of it afterwards, not something from my own cupboard. And we spoke to him, and I was busy talking to him when I saw that Zak was ready behind, because he had an axe. He was going to hit him with the blunt side of the axe over his head, so that if he's down, I can stab him, because I wanted to stab him. So I was talking too much. And Zak was showing me, hello, I'm ready here. He was standing half behind him. And so I said, okay, well then let's go in. And we were on our way just around. There was like a driveway, and go around the corner, and then there was a big like pot plants thingy there built with cement. There I showed Zak, yes. And then he hit him over his head. He said something to the effect of what the F, and fell down. And when he was down, Zak kept on hitting him. And I told him, I want to kill this man. So I told him to stop. And he was still hitting when I started stabbing Reg. And he told me afterwards he missed my head, hitting him with he couldn't stop himself hitting with the axe. He missed my head with this much, but I never realized that, because with that adrenaline, that moment, I was just focused on his tummy, because I lifted his jersey, and I stabbed him until I thought he must be dead. And then I remembered you have to see if the blood is still coming out, so I stabbed him in his throat here to see if it's still pulsing, and I watched it until it stopped, and then we left.
Did you at any stage tell the accused too what happened?
No, that was something I had to keep away from everyone else then. I started living a life separate from my life as a teacher and a mother and a friend. I would never have wanted them to know. For one, they would reject me, I'm sure, and then secondly, they would get me into trouble and want me to go to the police. And thirdly, and I think in a way more importantly, I think it could have caused Cecilia's death if I had to tell her that I'm a killer. I felt it would not be good for her.
My Lord, I see it's lunchtime. It would be appropriate time to adjourn.
We'll adjourn for lunch.
That's okay.